I tattooed myself yesterday. And I just wanted to make a little video kind of recapping everything I did, my little process. It was my first time. I'm obviously not an expert, but I had a lot of questions before I did this. And there are so many videos that are like absolutely terrible. So definitely do your own research and do a lot of research. I'll show you the things I used, show you some clips from when I did it live on Twitch. I just got a basic tattoo kit. It was from pickandpoketattoo.com, and I will put their link in the biogenia. I also, of course, kept a bunch of hand sanitizer with me. Paper towels, cling wrap. Oh, and then my petroleum jelly. Tegaderm. That's basically the bandage that I used after I cleaned everything off and was done with the tattoo. Most people use green soap to like disinfect the skin before tattooing and between passes and between line work and stuff. But what I did was just mix hydrogen peroxide in water. Am I gonna get dragged? So it was like 1 part of this, 2 parts water. I saw it as an alternative option on a few sites. So again, do your own research. Watch other videos. I'll link the one that I think was the most comprehensive so you can see and get an idea of everything. Yeah, and I walk you through a little more of the process in the actual video, so I should probably just show, not tell. First, I just need to measure exactly how far. I'm gonna do a line here. You're not really supposed to use a pen, but they also said it's not the end of the world if you do. And we're just gonna eyeball this, which is never a good idea in tattooing. Let me hand sanitize. I washed my hands earlier too, and I'll try to do my best to explain things as I go. So this is the needle we're gonna use. I'm just gonna use 1 needle. It's a 5 round liner, which means that at the tip of it, it has 5 little points, aka needles. And that's usually kind of like the base number that you use, but it has like, I think the pack I have goes from 3 up to 9. Here for a second. Okay, so what you do first, for anyone curious, is I like sprayed alcohol and cleaning stuff all over the desk. Then you put saran wrap down so that oh, I was supposed to put paper towels on top of this. I'll put a few. Because that just makes it so like if you spill ink or whatever, it is just not gonna fly everywhere. Then I'm gonna get some petroleum jelly because I like to have something inside of me while I'm doing this work. So the thing with Vaseline is with everything in tattooing basically is you can't reuse things. You don't want to like put your fingers or anything in something that you're going to use. You want to keep everything very fresh. So like I'm using this one and only stick. If I need more Vaseline, it's staying there. I'm also talking this through myself so I can remember. I do have sanitizer and I have a little solution I made to like wipe the tattoo as you go. And like, yeah, to disinfect the skin and stuff. Okay, now I'm gonna get a little ink cup that I probably shouldn't be touching with my ungloved hands, but I already did. Okay, let me just hand sanitizer one more time and then I'll open it and then we'll put the gloves on. I feel like a doctor over here. Okay, let me open this needle and then we'll get started in a sec if I'm not forgetting anything. This is like an official kit and you don't even need to get a kit. You can just buy these. Everything is actually like pretty cheap and affordable. Okay, so what I need to do real quick though, I recommend doing this. Taping a tongue depressor to it to give you just a little extra something to grip there. Okay, I'm just gonna put a couple more rounds of tape to make it a little thicker, and then I will sanitize everything one more time and dip my needle in some sanitizing solution and sanitize my skin and then add a little Vaseline to lube it up and we'll start. Let me sanitize the tip of the needle. I have a little like water and hydrogen peroxide mix. You can get this thing called green soap, but in case I didn't want to like ever do this again, I didn't want to spend money on like every type of ingredient that you can. Let me use hand sanitizer, then let me put my gloves on, and then we'll get started. I'm gonna put some ink in my little ink cup that's just out of frame. That would have been cute for y'all to see, but you know what? We're doing what we can with what we can. So Corey has never smoked weed out of a bowl, and I was like, do you want some? And he was like, yeah. He didn't realize he was supposed to put the flame on the top of like the herb, and he put it under like the bowl. And I wasn't watching it first, and then I was like, whoa, 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 wait, Corey. That's not this type of drug, girl. Okay, I've done like 7, 8 drops. I have no idea how much I will need. I'm gonna overestimate a little bit just so I don't have to redo it. This is the view y'all are gonna get. It's a little hard for me to like get everything perfectly in frame and stuff. Suck it up, ho. Okay, so I need to dipping some paper towel in my water hydrogen peroxide mixture. And wiping. I don't know how long I'm supposed to rub it for, but I'm gonna wish for some good luck. And then I was gonna bring a trash can down here, but I didn't, so I'm just dropping it on the floor, and that is definitely a no-no. I don't know if I'm supposed to do this with my finger, probably not, but that's all right. Just gonna put a little Vaseline on the area so that the ink doesn't like run around as much, and also just like soothes the skin a little bit. Okay, here we go. When you really first start, oh, you have no idea what you're doing, so like usually you don't go deep enough, but I'd rather have that than going too deep. So I'm just gonna see what happens. Let me pull my pants down a little more, and then you're supposed to like stretch the skin. Okay, that doesn't hurt at all. I'm tattooing myself! Ah! I'm scared. Can I be done? Okay, now I'm a pro. Look at this. Maybe I'll be done in like 3 seconds. And Mamma mia, this is a little crooked, mamma mia! You know, we'll fix it later. I might not even be going deep enough. Okay, so let me do my first wipe off and see what it looks like. And I'm gonna wipe it off with more disinfecting stuff because it's basically a miniature open wound. Okay, it doesn't look like I really got anything. It just looks like I have some dirty stubble. I think I went a little too deep on that one. Excuse me, I don't think this is working. Like, you can see the faint outline of something, but it's just red and hurts. Ooh, okay, I'm just going just slightly deeper. I feel like as long as I don't feel a stabbing pain, I'm fine. Okay, yes. The black is actually staying off. It's still very faint, and most of what you're seeing is just skin stab, but I see it. This is fun! Ah! It kind of hurts though. It's starting to hurt, I think, because I've gone over it so many times. Okay, but it's getting more straight too. I think I kind of fixed it. I'm gonna try a different angle. I think maybe this other angle will keep the ink out of my way. So I don't know if I'm not going as deep anymore or what, but it seems like it's kind of maxed out on the darkness of it. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave this for now, actually. It's not bad! It's not bad! Okay, so I just wiped it. Let me put my first little bandage on. So what I got for this is called Tegaderm, and it's basically like a Band-Aid, but it's breathable and waterproof and stuff, so you can like shower immediately. And then you just take the paper off and smooth it out. This wording could be a little content warning, but it's kind of interesting to see the line that you're carving into yourself. Like, it's very faint, but you can kind of follow like a little ridge that you're cutting through the skin, which is kind of gross and kind of majestic. To the very end. Y'all need to stan Kit Major. This song is amazing. She just released the music video for this. It's so good. I just felt like doing something a little crazy for the Teen Vogue party. We're just finishing up. I think I'm gonna call it here. Oh my god, yeah, this one on the right looks so good. I wish I could redo the one on the left. Oh, wait, let me just zoom out and stand on my chair so we can all see my tattoos. Hey. Oh, my legs look kind of nice. Like, they're very skinny, but like, they're like nice little skinny legs. Look how cute they are. So you can see like this is a little thick because I wasn't quite sure what I was doing, and even though I was putting Vaseline down after wiping, which is supposed to make it pool less, it was still pooling a ton. And what I realized I needed to do like later on, I was kind of going in from the side, and then later I kind of started going in more like forward and backward. I don't know if that's good or bad technique, or if there's like rules about that. Do your research, but because I didn't research that part, it was a lot clearer where the ink was going when I did that, so I got a lot cleaner lines after that. Also, I was really paranoid that it wasn't gonna like stay or that it wasn't dark enough, but now the lines are like so thick and so dark, so we'll see what happens. And then here's the second one I did. This is bad, but I got like a dog hair or an eyebrow or something stuck right here. There's a little hair here, but overall this is the tattoo that I think is cleaner, even though it's not quite as sharp as I wanted at the point. Like, I wanted it to be more like triangular like this one. This is such a funny image. I feel like I'm like holding my pee. But yeah, you can see that this one is a little more thin and consistent. And I did, like you can see, I did kind of measure them out so they're around the same part on my leg. It's not a perfect science. Also, if I shift my weight, obviously that's going to change. Common questions that I was getting was, number one, what does it feel like or does it hurt? It does hurt. I was definitely kind of scared at first, so I wasn't going deep enough in the skin, which actually caused me more pain because I had to go over it even more than I would have otherwise. Which I do recommend going not as deep versus trying to go too deep at first, and you will know the difference though. You'll definitely make a mistake even if you're going not deep enough. What I heard people say in other videos that kind of freaked me out but was true is that you can kind of content warning, ASMR warning, you can kind of hear the skin like when you're like poking in and out, like you kind of hear the like puncture. Oh, sorry. It's funny that I tattooed myself because I'm very sensitive with like skin stuff. Like if I see someone picking their nail, I freak out. Or like pulling a little bit of loose skin off their nail. Ooh, I can't. So I don't know how I tattooed myself, but honestly, it was great. Let me get back on track, girls. It did sting. It wasn't like an intense pain. It's the very, very top layer of skin. I think you're going like a millimeter or so into your skin. It's kind of like if you got poked by like a rose. Although honestly, even sometimes that might be a little deeper, but where you're kind of like, ooh, it's sharp. But you're not like, oh shit. And you shouldn't really like bleed. Like I bled just maybe like 1 drop or 2 drops out of like the first 2 hours. And I really do think that the farther I went on with it, more used to it, like my skin got or something, or the more used to it I got, where it kind of seemed like once the skin gets a little, for lack of a better word, irritated, because there's obviously a foreign object going into it, and it kind of raises just a little bit, I kind of felt like it was not as painful. Like at first I was going very slow. And then later on I was like, boop, 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 boop. And as ink started to pool on my skin a little bit, I was like, well, I don't need to like keep dipping. Let me just poke in the ink that's already kind of floating on my skin. And I think that worked in terms of getting more ink in my skin. Like I don't think I needed to like dip every single time, because sometimes I would wipe and I'd be like, oh, that was a lot of ink that came off. So I kind of got in the rhythm as I went on and figured it out. Again, I would err on the side of caution with everything at first. So like maybe you're going a little too shallow, maybe you're using a little bit too much ink, or like re-dipping, I should say, a little bit too often, just so you can kind of get a feel for it. Honestly, at first, it didn't look like I was doing anything except scarring my leg. And even the second time, when I thought that I had gotten better at it, I don't know if I really just was going way not deep enough, or if that's just how it looks. Because when I saw other people doing their tattoo videos and first passes on YouTube, I was like, oh, that's like a noticeable amount of ink. Like it's not thick, but I think maybe their first passes meant when they made a first contiguous line versus just like the first dots that they were making around the whole design. Because once I made a first line, you're like, ooh, that's a line. It also still kind of looks like a scar though. Like not a bad scar. I hope I'm not scaring anyone, unless you should be scared, because there's probably a few people out there that shouldn't be doing this. The reason why I got this pick and poke brand tattoo kit, number one, it was like 25 bucks including shipping, and had a good amount of stuff, which you can probably get things cheaper if you got like big amounts of everything. Like if you really wanted to just commit and get big ass things of ink and like a bunch of needles and stuff. But I didn't know if I was gonna like the pick and poke and like doing tattoos on myself, so I was like, let me just get a inexpensive but what seems to be a very legit and well rated pack. And I also like their philosophy of everything, where they're saying like, do your best, stay as safe as possible, be safe. I said safe twice, but I mean, you kind of should. Use proper ink, use proper needles, all of that. But also like they came at it with like a good parenting vibe to me, where it was like, we understand that sometimes you might not have the optimal every single thing is perfect, and that's okay, but just be super, super safe. One thing I did that is definitely not ideal, I used like an older pen to kind of mark out spots where I wanted my tattoo to start and end. And you shouldn't really do that because it's gonna have like bacteria and shit on it. I mean, I did sanitize my skin after doing the markings, but by putting something that wasn't sterilized on my skin, that's always an added risk. So like things like that, where they're like, you know, hey, we did this type of thing. I didn't want to get stencil paper because I was like, let me save some money. Although honestly, I don't know exactly how much stencil paper is. I didn't even look it up, but I do think it's worth it. Unless you're gonna just do something really small, kind of like I did. But if you're doing anything bigger or anything remotely intricate, definitely get the stencil shit. Would I recommend it? I would. It was fun. You definitely can't be too precious with your body in terms of it, because you might mess up, it might just look bad, or it might not stay well, or there's lots of things that can go wrong just in terms of like designing and getting it onto your skin. So I would say, you know, just know that it could look bad and start small. I'm very happy with mine, even though they're kind of crooked, because it's like a cool memory that I made, you know? Aftercare for the tattoo, again, what I did was just disinfect with the hydrogen peroxide mix. Just wipe it a few times after I was fully done. Then I put the Tegaderm on. I didn't put on any like lotion or other things. After that, like once you take the first band-aid off, just clean it with like unscented soap. The most plain fragrance-free soap you can get. Also unscented lotion or Aquaphor type of stuff is what I've used before. But don't use like Vaseline or like coconut oil or things like that. Basically they make it so the tattoo doesn't breathe as much because the layer is too strong. So clean it, put a little lotion on it, and then put another bandage on. And then I've been lotioning my tattoo pretty much every day ever since I got it 5 years ago too. And you're supposed to use a lot of sunscreen. Again, I'm not going super in depth there, so do your research. Do your research on every single thing. Thanks for the encouragement and support, everyone. I had so much fun today. I'll definitely do this at some point again in the future.